nobody from EduSat here to give you exactly the answer, but our experience shows that it has been helpful, and Dr. Rajshekhar Pillai has been using it and using it for distant education. And it has been very useful, yes.
First question, in times of recession, is learning, is it viable to reach the rural side?
I think there is nothing impossible. It is viable. Why it is not viable?
Creating a digital divide.
No, the moment you start reaching it, the divide is closed. The divide is eliminated. But you are not reaching. But we have to reach. That's the point. Any other points? Yes.
I am from Tata Metro. We are the content providing business. I have got one question. One very ground really.
Two. Question to any particular?
No, to the panelists.
Yeah.
A very real ground reality we face is that of plagiarism and kind of very less amount of awareness of the concept of IP and protection. I would really request you to possibly put it in the curriculum right from the school stage what IPR means, so that it inculcates, it gets absorbed in the kind of culture and our own kind of curriculum.
I say amen.
Yeah.
I say amen.
So this is one reality, piracy. We
Sure,
want
sure.
to be there. We are profit, making
Sure.
To make profit, we also want to reach out to the underprivileged by the way of giving free content. But only problem is that there is a lot of piracy happening.
Yes, I understand.
Concerned about it. Yeah.
These are the steps government has to take.
Yeah.
I'm happy that these issues are coming up, and sure it will be addressed. Yes.
My question is to our guest from Colombo.
Yes.
Sorry, sir, I couldn't get your name. How did you manage the language barrier?
Well, this program, it's called the Bachelor of Information Technologies, it's teaching English only. But these private institutes, they were conducting some classes in Sinhala and Tamil because the students have the problem. But as in university, the medium of instruction is English. So this is one reason why some students went for the private institutes, because initially they find it difficult to follow the English instructions. And but usually the exams are held in English only.
Yes.
I have a question for Dr. Verghese. How do the children respond to the constructivist experiment or framework?
Yeah, I would say that it's very good. Over the last few years, our learning achievement studies conducted by outside agencies, including national agencies, is showing improvement in our learning achievement.
Excellent.
Because when you were talking, I just thought about hole in the wall, where
Experiments, yes.
Yeah, it is.
I will tell you about it because I have personal experience. Yes.
Hello, I joined Mr. Asid Ali. I'm Michael Latham. I just spent a month in Dhaka as a PPP and education specialist and working with your primary education department. And it was like herding cats, getting the NGOs to talk to the for-profits don't talk to the government, and the government finds it difficult to talk to the others. Yet you have 98% of your secondary education system is through the non-government sector. So I would ask all the panelists, in a sense, one of the difficulties I think for PPPs is how do you get the different parties, the non-state actors to talk together, and then the non-state actors and the government actors to work on the same page.
Yes, yep. I think this is the problem everywhere, but I think he's going to answer on behalf of all the three countries.
I think, it has been echoed in different sessions as well, that the coordination and working on silos is the common theme across all governments, probably, especially in this region. But again, I think this is a problem that's ongoing, and one of the things the PPP framework was put in last year, 1 year, and why do you think the cell has now moved into the Prime Minister? Because again, because of the centralized nature of the system, it's almost like if you actually prioritize something and you actually have to push things very centrally from the top. But changes are interestingly happening. I mean, particularly from, I can give you one example. You talked about the NGOs and lacking coordination with not talking to the government. They have started to talk. I mean, recently we have launched a content portal called for all the content related to livelihood, and we opened it up. Not only we used the government content that has been developed over the last 20, 30 years in different areas in agriculture, health, and education. We also welcomed and invited all the NGOs. About 25 of the largest NGOs came in, and they said that they all volunteered. All of their content they produced, and they are all part of this national portal that we have specifically on livelihood content. So these barriers are starting to break. I mean, I can see that they're starting to talk, and it's going to take time. But I think the government's whole idea that the government now has, especially in Bangladesh, has opened up. They have identified that lack of private sector involvement. I mean, it's how critical it is to get private sector involved in our service delivery and also the infrastructure projects is a testament to that growing realization. Thank you.
I have a small question.
That's the last question.
Okay.
That's the last
I'm
question.
Dr. Indrani from Vigyan. I have been working in rural areas where we have used ICT as a medium in 2007. One problem happened is the teacher was well equipped, trained, using nicely to teach, for example, it was parts of a tree. And students were not showing interest. Or one student was rather watching outside the window, and the teacher got very upset because she was very happy that she had learned how to use the whole thing. And then when she asked the student to stand up and say, "What are you doing?" he said, "I'm also learning. I'm watching a tree outside and learning the parts because I found it much easier than the thing." And this has not been coming to the teachers now because too much of ICT. This natural way of learning is going away. Are we going to address this kind? Because students learn either way. It's not only...
We can as well say that the students need not come to the school at all.
I don't mean that because the terminology, the eternal depth of it.
No, the
question
is, our Bangladesh colleague very clearly said the content has to be very relevant. And if you can learn that with the proper content, the child will pick up, and if it is relevant to the child, it will pick up. The point is, no one is advocating that you replace one thing with the other. All that we are trying to say is, see how far you can augment the teacher's effort by whatever method, by whether taking the child to the garden and showing the tree and explaining the part, or sitting in the room and showing a computer and teaching it. So that is all to be taken in. We should not say that because something has happened in one place and some other method could have been adopted, therefore that method should be adopted everywhere, this method should be dispensed with. That should not be the argument. The argument is, yes, there are very many methods, and do please use it according to the requirement. This is all the speakers also explained. And if we use it, if we blend it properly, I think we can find solutions, especially to the question of equity. That is the takeaway point. Thank you. So I will conclude. The panelists were very clearly. Mr. Khandelwal want to ask a question. You have experienced. He's a former CBSE chairman, so we have to be a little careful. Yes, please. Switch it on, please.
That technology has to be brought in the system of learning. What experience has told us, it is much easier to develop the archives and use them in the higher education, but it's much more challenging in the elementary and the school system. As we are going to increase access, as we have been doing under the UNESCO